All right, we're here, July 14th. Hot
Dog
as
days of
hell in my
summer.
house. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. How's it going, Brett?
It's going good. It's very hot here, but I'm ready to talk some music. And we have
Yeah.
a great guest, great show lined up for everyone.
Yeah. Awesome interview later with Brian from Playlist Wars coming at you.
Very on par with our album draft. So if you like that one, you'll definitely like this listen.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. Um what's been going on this week? We didn't really have like a ton of albums.
We didn't, but I had some homework following our interview,
You did
and I think I'm officially in the fish tank.
officially?
Oh, fish.
How did you miss that?
I missed that one.
God damn it, Brett. That's
Off
where
my
you
A game.
shine. Yeah,
No, but
we
I am loving Farmhouse. I've listened to it
yeah.
all day, and I'm definitely hooked now.
Dude, it's so fun. Um, just to fill in everyone, in our interview, me and Brian had a little fish nerding out going on, and he told Brett to listen to a studio album, which I don't frequently hear recommended, but I think it kind of was a good way for him to go. So Brett listened to Farmhouse, which is their I don't know, most mainstream album maybe. Like people know the song Farmhouse, at least 90s people. I don't know about now.
It came out in May 16th, 2000.
Really? Damn, I thought it was earlier than that. Damn. I don't know their the like order of their albums, but it's a
This
good one.
one, this was great. There wasn't a single song I wanted to skip over. Like each one was unique, and I think my favorites, at least after a couple listens, I have to be Bug,
Yeah.
Farmhouse, Dirt, which you was a very great recommendation by you,
Yeah.
and
I love
First
that song.
Tube. Like just I hit that on loop like 3 times.
Dun, 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 dun. Sorry, I had to finish the riff. It went on a little longer.
It's so good though. Like, how many of these songs are like live staples, or does it,
Dude,
or does every set list just vary so much?
literally all of them. um,
Okay.
um, there's not a song on here I haven't heard live except maybe Sleep. I have to hit play on it. Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard Sleep live, but other than that, all of these get worked in very frequently. Sand is such a good one too. Another
Even
funky one.
in-law Josie Wales, like that was like my blood pressure got up a little point at some my blood pressure got worked up at some point today, which I won't get into, but the in-law Josie Wales brought it back down. It was just such a great listen, and like they're just clearly great musicians.
Yeah.
So I'm
Uh,
excited to like dive into them more.
yeah. I love how like no two songs are like two alike. I mean, maybe that's not entirely true, but I mean like they'll bounce genre to genre within an album in their set lists, which is always fun.
And is Trey the singer and the guitarist, or is he just the guitarist?
Trey's the singer and the guitarist, but then Mike, the bass player, he sings on I don't know if he sings on anything on this album, but he sings a fair amount too. And then Paige, the keyboardist, he has songs that he sings. Like they really all like kind of work it in. But Trey's definitely like the primary vocalist. Yeah, I don't know. Like, cause he plays some crazy guitar stuff, so to sing too is it's impressive.
And then what was the other album you guys said? Was it Hoist or another one to check out?
Oh, Hoist is great. Do Hoist.
Okay.
Do Hoist. Yeah.
I saw there's a
Yeah.
lot from like Billy Breeze in the top 10 on Spotify.
Billy Breeze is awesome too. There's really like,
They're all good.
yeah, some of the newer ones will have songs that I don't love every song, but the older stuff like Hoist and Billy Breeze would have been my next two. And Picture of Nectar School, but that's maybe a little weirder. Did you listen to any of the live ones I sent you?
Yeah, I could definitely get down with that in
Yeah.
person.
It's got to be cool like hearing the studio version first and then hearing how they kind of expand on it live, because it's not like, I mean, sometimes they'll go crazy and they'll stretch it out, some songs, for like upwards of 30 minutes. It's not frequent that they'll go for that long, but it's for sure happened. But usually they'll stretch songs to like 10, 15 minutes if they really like get in a groove.
And I'm sure like along with the visuals, like live, like
Yeah,
gives the songs like an even an additional level
yeah,
up
uh,
from like the album versions.
yeah, yeah. That's what happens because there are times where they're like deep in a jam and you're just like zone out. You're like, I don't even know what song they're playing anymore. But then you look at the lights, or sometimes I'll just pick one of the guys and I'll just like be like, all right, what's Mike doing on bass, and just really like focus in on that. There's just so many ways to listen, but
Yeah, this one
they're
needs.
great.
I had it like on playing out of my laptop speakers today, so I feel like this one needs a headphone listen to really grasp everything going on here.
Yeah, yeah, you'll definitely pick up more stuff with every listen, as we so often do. Are you free August 6th? Because they're playing AC and Andy's coming. It's going to be his first show.
I feel like there's something going on that day, unfortunately.
Yeah, so I have a Crossroads. My friend's having he does like kind of an annual beer Olympics. He's doing it that day, and it's also the only day I can see Fish this tour. I don't know what to do.
I'm kind of hoping they do a December show.
They will. They always play Madison Square Garden for 4 days around New Year's. Sometimes they do it in Miami, but like 90% of the time, I want to say, especially now that they're older, they all live in or around New York, so those shows are very easy for them. They don't have to travel, and they have families, so
I need to go.
they also just announced Riviera shows in like Mexico.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, if like I could see like if you're like an older person with like good job and stuff, and you and your wife are into it, like let's make a vacation out of it and get to see Fish too. Like it's pretty cool. Last time they did it, who was there? I'm blanking. Um, Dave Matthews was there, and he just like came out and they did some random Dave Matthews songs, and he did some Fish songs with them.
I was looking, they do a lot of covers live too.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of covers. Not all the time, but they work in a lot. Like they do a Lovin' Cup cover by Rolling Stones, which is great. They do a lot of Talking Heads. They do like Psycho Killer and Cities. Um, they do Beatles sometimes. They do Zeppelin sometimes. Like it's so cool when you're just at a show and then all of a sudden they bust out like a Zeppelin song. It's just like it's
Oh,
so
that's
fun.
awesome.
Yeah,
I can only imagine what it would have been like with Dave Matthews there. Like those two fan bases colliding has to be something.
yeah, yeah. There's actually a lot of overlap, I guess, because they're kind of like both jammy. But I would think Dave Matthews goes more like broy and Fish goes more hippie.
I
If
think
there's
that's
like
fair.
the
Yeah,
Venn diagram.
that's definitely the Venn diagram.
Yeah. Then in the
I don't
middle, it's
mind Dave
just
Matthews though. I feel like the '90s stuff was pretty good.
yeah, I always like wanted to know more from him than I do, but it's just a lot. And like, I'm invested in Fish. I don't have time to go through like 12 albums and live shows of
No,
another band. Maybe someday.
it's definitely a deep dive for him. Like I think I pretty much stopped listening around like 2004. So I can only imagine how much I missed in that time.
Yeah. Yeah. When I saw Fish in Washington at the Gorge, there were people there who were like, yeah, we're just hanging out till next week when Dave Matthews comes through. We're just gonna run it back. You guys are nuts.
Yeah.
4 days of camping is already like 3 more days of camping than my body can handle.
Oh, there was camping.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, that's a whole nother.
yeah, yeah.
Good
I
for
mean,
them though.
yeah, and it wasn't bad in Washington because during the day it gets to like 70 and it's like the dry heat kind of Arizona style. And then at night it drops to like 50. So that's like perfect for sleeping. Like I was never hot at night.
The
So
Arizona's a cool state.
yeah. Yeah, the sweat just like I would when I was in Arizona and kind of when I was in Washington too, but definitely more Arizona. Like I'll just be covered in salt, but like I wouldn't be sweaty because it just evaporates like immediately. It's weird. Weird Arizona. Weird West Coast.
Weird New Jersey.
Weird New Jersey.
Good
um,
times.
yeah. What else? I've just been listening to like Camp Trash like nonstop.
Can we announce that yet or not yet?
Yeah, we can announce that.
Okay.
We're gonna have them on next week. We're very excited.
Very excited.
Yeah.
That wasn't even planned.
We're just
We're that
genuinely
excited.
excited. I found one live show from them on YouTube from like a few months ago. So I was watching that and it was like they sounded great. And it's funny because like they're a pretty small band. Like they have a lot of listenership, but as far as like this show, like it just reminded me of like small hometown shows when there's like the core people in the crowd who know the songs, and it's just like it's such a good stage, such a fun stage of a band to be at. Because like I don't know, we still kind of get it with the front bottoms, but like when you think back to when they were like earlier, it's just this smaller group, and then when they get bigger and bigger, you kind of like lose that. But
Or like when
it's
we saw like modern baseball in Brooklyn, like those small venues.
yeah, this one was even smaller than that, but like that's like I think like the best spot for a band to see bands anyway. I'm sure for a band like it might be more fun, but selling out like an arena or PNC or something is probably a little more lucrative.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
That's like doesn't like don't or didn't Foo Fighters randomly just like do shows in really small venues just because they miss it?
He did that documentary, Dave Grohl, on like bands touring in vans. And so they went on like all the small venues they came through when they first started playing music. So
They
they
just
played like
ran
these
shows
really
there.
tiny club. Yeah.
What?
So, like they played all these tiny clubs across the country.
That's sick. I remember there was one video going around a few years ago of them just like playing like a pizza joint.
Yep.
Imagine just getting a slice and Dave Grohl
And
starts
they're
just like
there.
ribbing.
So My Hero starts playing.
I would have to order a second slice, make myself comfortable.
Or get a chicken parm, Hero.
Ooh, yeah, really get crazy.
There goes your hero.
uh, well done, as always.
Also, Rage
um,
Against the Machine is back this week.
yeah,
And
I've
now
been.
I'm sad I'm not seeing them on this tour.
I still might be. My one of my good friends is like he's not like a huge music fan, but Rage is like his band. Like he's almost the reason I know them as well as I do because they're always on in his car since we were in high school. Like, just loves Rage. So he was telling me the other day, he's like, I have to see them. I can't miss them. So I was looking it up, dude. So they're playing like at least 4 nights at the Garden. Floor seats are like $700 if you
I'm
want to
not
be in GA.
surprised.
And then the 100s are still like 400 plus. And then if you sit in the 200s, it's like $125, which is that's reasonable for Rage Against the Machine, I think. It's just like I'd love to be on the floor for them because they're a rage band,
Oh
you know?
yeah. It's just crazy how expensive tickets are now, like with everything going on. It's like absurd.
Yeah, and I can't even tell, like, I don't even know anymore. Like, is it the band doing it? Is it Ticketmaster doing it? Are they resell? Like, I just don't know. And it almost doesn't matter because it's like the price is the price. But
I'm blaming Ticketmaster because their fees are what makes it like unreasonable.
yeah. Yeah, but these were like floor seats 650, not even with fees. So like how I don't know.
It's
But
probably like $200 in fees knowing Ticketmaster.
I wanted to surprise him. Like if it was like maybe 200 for floor seats, like it's still like a lot, but it's
For Rage, why not?
it's doable. It's something that you can like kind of talk yourself into. But like $1,000, I don't live that life. I would love to, but it's not happening.
Someday.
Yeah, yeah. Any sponsors out there? Sling those mattresses and me undies or whatever people do on podcasts. But yeah, I love all these headlines, and I don't know if this is real or if this is just the headlines. They're like all these people who are like, "Oh, Rage Against the Machine, like when did they become so political?" And I feel like,
Have you listened to Rage Against the Machine?
yeah, I just think there's no way people are actually saying that. I almost feel like they nitpick like a few tweets and then write an article about it. Like, are people really out there upset about Rage Against the Machine having political views?
Yeah, like, do you like really ignore the lyrics that much? Like when you listen to them, I know like they're phenomenal instrumentally, but you have to what words you're screaming along with Zach De La Roche. Like,
Yeah. There's a tweet that goes around and it's like years old now. But someone said someone was criticizing them for being political, and Tom Morello was like, it doesn't take someone with a degree from Harvard in political science to like have to analyze politics, but I happen to have a political science degree from Harvard. So screw you.
He's the man, Tom Morello.
Yeah. Yeah, he rips.
I'm listening to them this week. I went back to Renegade because I feel like that's like the one Rage album I don't know front to back. It's like mostly covers, but it's phenomenal.
Uh yeah, I definitely don't know that one as well as like Battle for Los Angeles and that Evil Empire are like the heavy hitters.
They don't miss. They're another one of those bands. Like Playlist Wars had a good tweet last week. They're like, what band do you know that consistently puts out better records than the one they put out before? And it was a really tough question. Like my answer was Pup, because I feel like
Yeah.
they're still getting better. But I think
I-
Rage fits that answer too.
Yeah. I think I could throw Rise Against in there. I don't
That
I
was
might
my
just be
other one in my
biased 'cause
tweet.
I'm like,
I was like, Pup or Rise Against?
yeah. Silverstein flirts the line. Silverstein always puts out good albums. I just don't know if it's always like my favorite when they put out a new album.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But it goes back to our consistency talk from last week. Yeah, there wasn't too much this week. There's this I sent you Code of the Fiend, this Brooklyn rapper. And
Which thank you for sending that to me, because I feel like I've been really slacking in rap this year, and this is probably my favorite rap album I've heard this year so far.
it's really cool. Like the jazz influence and just like the like array of different instrumentals on it. Like there's a interlude that's got ukulele going, and then there's this one song, Empty Cup, and it's kind of sounds like the Thugs Mansion guitar riff. I don't know if you made it that
It
far.
does, yeah.
It's like, I mean, it's got to be intentional because it's pretty much like exactly like the Thugs Mansion guitar riff, but it's just a little different. It's just, yeah, it's just all over the place. Then there's a song Up that just like it's like got this organ beat going the whole time. Jumpman has like a cello part and this like there's like this high pitched noise. I don't know what does it. It's got to just be some sort of like synthesizer, but it's that like kind of G funk sound. I don't know. I was really like impressed with the instrumentals, and the rapping's good too. But
It is really good. It reminded me like the first time I heard like Chance the Rapper's coloring book. Like I feel like it's very
Yes.
much on that level.
yeah, I had the same thought with Chance, and I was texting my cousin. He also brought up Chance. It's definitely kind of has that vibe to it for sure.
Like Chance has definitely like kind of had some hiccups since with his albums. Like I feel like people hated his last one.
Yeah,
When
it
it came out, and he's
wasn't-
not like kind of revered as he was when Coloring Book was out, but I still think he's a good rapper.
Yeah, is that the one that had like Same Drugs? Because that song was pretty good.
I think it's
Three?
like the one where he's holding
Coloring
like the
Book,
clear
yeah.
CD on the cover.
Oh, I'm thinking of Coloring Book. Clear CD. Oh, The Big Day.
That's it. Yeah.
I'm not even like super familiar with this one.
I think it's like obnoxiously long too. It's like
Yeah,
an hour and a half or something.
22 tracks with like no, there's one skit. Yeah, that's a little heavy. But yeah, it was nice to kind of just like mix it up a little. Listen to so much rock, but
Do you get any
still-
Mac Miller vibes too?
yeah, a little bit. I
Like
forget
late Mac?
I forget what song, but yeah, just with like his like lyrical delivery
Yep.
kind of reminded
That's
me of
exactly what I
Mac.
was thinking.
Yeah, I think I'll go back to this one, dig into it more.
Especially as like the summer seems to be kind of slow with releases. I mean, like we were talking about before, we have Census Fail this week, which I'm excited for, but I'm also not sure what to expect because I feel like there's no telling with Census Fail anymore. But
Yeah, they can
It should
really
be
go in
okay.
any direction. I didn't listen to the single either, so
no, I didn't either. Hey, welcome to the club.
someone sent it to me. I did not listen. I wasn't necessarily deliberate, but I didn't listen, so we can
we'll
listen
clean slate
together.
then on Friday when
Yeah,
it comes out.
yeah, and then there was so Tiny Moving Parts is coming out with an album, and
Ooh,
I didn't do a ton of research here on what happened, but it was available on iTunes for like 5 days, and now it's gone.
oh, I gotta look.
Yeah, so like something happened where it got released early. I don't know the whole story, and now it's off. I'm not even sure what the release date is anymore. But it's just funny like how that happened. And if you're like a diehard fan and you got it, you're probably pretty psyched.
What's a self-titled album?
Ooh, that's I always feel like you put out a self-titled album like 3 or 4 albums in, you're making a statement.
No,
Shout out,
last one was
shout out
Breathe too.
Blink.
Breathe.
Yeah, they don't I fell off them a little bit, but not in any fault of like them. I just kind of like fell off, but like Pleasant Living was my jam.
Oh
Celebrate
yeah,
was so good.
that's when we saw them like open up for Modern Baseball.
Yeah. And then like their first one, This Couch is Long and was it Full of Friendship? Yeah, yeah. That
And
one's
that
great.
guitar playing is just
Dude, it's so noodly. I love it.
a big sucker for noodly.
Bow, like it's so great. He plays this really cool like semi-hollow Fender, and he always has like a capo somewhere on it, and he rips. I work with a guy because we have a Minnesota office, and he's like legit friends with them. So maybe we can try and work something out when this album comes out. See if we can get him on. He sent me an album
That would
early
be
once
awesome.
from them. He's like, "Oh, I have the demos." Like I was in their basement when they were working on it, and he sent me a few songs. It's pretty cool. Yeah, those guys are awesome. I have no idea. It's weird that they don't have a
I don't see a
actual.
release date.
Yeah, this says July 8th, but that happened.
Is
And
that when
now
it
it's
went up and
gone.
they took it down?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, well, we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe it'll be this Friday. We could get 2 for next week.
I'm all for some new tiny moving parts.
Yeah.
Although, yeah, like you said, I don't know if it's gonna hit like Pleasant Living and Celebrate. Celebrate was really good too.
Yeah. Yeah. So, oh man, I forgot about this album. I listened to the shit out of this album. Happy Birthday. Great song.
Headache.
Headache, Common Cold. They're a great band. Yeah, I'm excited. I wish I was on top of things when the album leaked. It'd been fun to listen to.
You were slacking there.
I know. What am I doing? Yeah. I don't use iTunes. That's my problem. That's where it leaked on. You want to throw it to our interview and we can let the people hear from Brian?
Yeah, let's do it. People
All
think
right,
people are
cool.
gonna have a good time with this one, and we'll probably definitely judge our summer playlist. But hey, to each their own.
Yeah, we have fun with it. There was very broad rules, so it was easy to go crazy. All right.
I may or may not have picked a boy band for one, so you'll have to listen to find out.
All right, we'll throw it there and we'll see you on the other side. Okay, we now welcome on a very special guest, Brian Colburn. Brian is one half of the dynamic duo that makes up the Playlist Wars podcast. Whether it's crafting a playlist from a band's entire discography, one album, a specific era, or anything in between, Brian and his co-host Alex Gomez have done it. Playlist Wars can be found anywhere you can listen to podcasts, and they also have a Patreon with extra goodies. Brian, we hope we can bring you a trifecta and not the proverbial axe. Thanks so much for coming on. How's it going?
I love it. I love that you pulled it right from the show. Thank you guys so much for having me.
It's great to have you on. Brett introduced me to you guys a few months ago, and we've been big fans since.
Oh, I appreciate that. We've been doing this for a little over a year now, and to say that we're shocked at the way the show has taken off over the last year and a half would be the understatement of the century.
So you have a broadcasting history, because this isn't your first podcast, if I did my research
Nope.
correctly.
That's absolutely right. I ran a show with one of my good friends called Tune Styles. We did it for about 3.5 years. And that was basically an interview program mixed in with some topics and some debates and stuff like that. But it was a little bit more sporadic of a show. We would do it when we had time. And he ended up having to move for his full-time career. And when he did, he says, we need to take a break from it. And at that point, I was getting so into podcasting for a hobby. I'm like, I can't take a break. I've got this other idea. And Gomez, who's my best friend of 30 something years, had been saying to me, I want to start a podcast. Can you help me get one off the ground so I could, you know, podcast? I'm into it. And I said, well, what do you want to do? And he goes, I have no idea. So I pitched him the idea of Playlist Wars. And the following Tuesday, we just started recording. And it's the way it's been ever since.
So you
How did
have-
that idea like come about? Playlist Wars. Oh, sorry, Nick, I think I cut you off there.
No, it's what I was going to ask.
Honestly, on Tune Styles, we would have these discussions and we kept kind of shifting the show's format into, was it a interview program? Was it a music commentary? Was it debate? It kind of had no focus. And that was kind of the beauty of it, because a turnstile keeps spinning and it's constantly evolving. And that's where Tune Styles came from. It was a play on Billy Joel's Turnstiles album name. And it was basically a rotating list of topics that we would talk about, whether it was an interview, whether it was discussion, whether it was debate. And I felt that the show might have improved if we kind of honed in on one that we really liked. And this was the topic I started pitching about, I don't know, 2 to 3 weeks before the show kind of dissolved because he got his job offer down south. So I pitched the idea to Gomez and said, this would be it. This is the show week by week. And then the only difference would be we would do a results show at the time, we had no idea how many episodes. It took us through the first 20 when people started getting mad. And they're like, we need results, man. So we said, okay, every 10 episodes it is moving forward. And that's kind of how it evolved. And the show dynamics have changed over the year and a half, where at first we were just kind of talking about why we picked the song. And over the year and a half, we started bringing in a little bit of the history of the song, some of the Billboard rankings, cover songs ideas. And Gomez, who is more of a casual music fan, where I'm psychotic about it, he's more casual. However, he's psychotic about music and video games. He's all in on, he's movies and video games, I should say, where he's just a nerd that loves looking up music, but he loves finding songs that have appeared in movies he likes or in video games he likes. So that's his niche. Mine is the pure music based. Half the times he talks about movies, I've never seen them because I'm too busy listening to music. And yeah, so that's a kind of a very long-winded answer to your question. I apologize about that.
No, it's great. I love the history, and it's a great like dynamic you guys have, because if you just had two intense music nerds going in on the deep cuts, you're now alienating maybe half your listener base. So
that
it works
is
pretty well.
Very, very true. And that is, I think, why the dynamic actually works. Because sometimes I'll put together a playlist and as soon as we hit stop on the recording, I'll just look at Gomez and be like, you won. And he goes, how do you know? I said, because you had the right amount of 80s. And I don't want to spoil what episode I'm talking about because we just released our latest results episode, but this was recent. And as soon as we hit stop, I said, you won this one. Hands down. You picked the most songs from the 80s. And there's no way my deeper cuts are going to stand a chance. And I was right. I didn't want to be right, but I was right.
You just knew pretty much.
But the thing is, there's episodes where we'll finish and I'll be like, man, my playlist I did not nail that one at all. And then I'll win the episode and I'll legitimately be shocked because people resonated with what I felt was either a discombobulated or maybe disjointed playlist, because hindsight is always 2020. And our guests come on the show and they only have to do it once. Gomez and I every week are putting out a new episode. So the focus is constantly shifting. So whereas we don't have 2 months to prepare because we schedule so far in advance, people would give them notice. So they have 2 months to get their playlist ready. And I have 1 week and I'm scrambling through somebody's discography going, maybe I like, and then I get into it. And then for that week, I've listened to these albums 5-6 times each. And at the end, I kind of just go with my gut. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's not. And I think the beauty in it lies in the fact that we're giving the guests more time, because that gives them a better shot of coming into a show where they're the unknown third person. To whereas I don't want to say Gomez and I have quote unquote fan bases, but we always know that there's certain people that no matter what we go with, we think musically with them. And we know their thought process. So when I pick certain songs, I'm like, man, I know I'm going to get this vote for this one. And Gomez knows the same thing, where the guest comes in, he doesn't necessarily know where the other playlisters land. So to give them more time, I feel like evens the playing field. So that way it's a fair competition. I use quote marks because at the end of the day, really, it's just our opinions and they're all subjective. None of the three of us are right. None of the three of us are wrong. It's just a fun chance to have an open dialogue about these songs.
Yeah, and it's very fun to listen to. I know we did a pop punk draft with some friends a few weeks ago, and maybe a few days after it aired, I'm sitting around at work thinking, man, I should have picked this album. I forgot about this, and it just sticks with you. I love the all the tidbits you guys add, because it's not just I pick this album, then you move on to the next one. Does a lot of do you do a lot of research? How much is kind of off the cuff versus like when you talk album sales? You can't know all that off the top of your head, right?
No, 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 no. I mean, I wish I did. If it was my full-time job, I would make it that point to learn all those tidbits. But I look up the album stats. I look up the Billboard rankings. I go to billboard.com and I search the songs. Cover songs, because I talk about those a lot on the show. 9 times out of 10, they're from, I have several thousand cover songs that I've ripped from my ridiculous CD collection over the years on a playlist. So most times they come from that. 1 time out of 10, I'll be researching and be like, wait a minute, this person did a cover song, and I'll have to like go down that rabbit hole. But the cover songs for me are off the top of my head, whereas the details about chart rankings and stuff, I wish I knew, but I put the time in so that way I'm not just saying, hey, I picked this song, it's good, because that could get very repetitive. So to be able to have kind of some talking points and some fun facts about the song that, hell, especially if I didn't know it going in, I'm guessing maybe some of the other playlisters didn't. So if I found something interesting or fascinating about a song, my hope is that the people listening do too.
And Nick, to piggyback off that, I think like one of the most fascinating things about the show is like not only do you give like the fun facts about the songs, but like your show has like a ton of heart in it. Like you guys give personal stories that like really drives home like what people love about music and what make like why a certain song makes them feel a certain way. You guys like tell these incredible background stories of like how like maybe like you met your wife through a song you heard, or like I was listening to the Green Day episode and like how you had that connection with Green Day. And I think that just gives like you get like a little personal touch in there, and it brings the listeners like coming back in, week out to hear that again.
Yeah, that's something that kind of happened organically. Gomez and I made it a point at the beginning to not make this the Brian and Gomez show. We didn't want it to be us just waxing poetic about inside jokes between the two of us that nobody could relate to. However, when we do tell personal stories, we make sure to explain them so that way anybody can relate. Because there are certain times that him and I have stories together where we'll bring up a friend of ours and we'll explain who that friend is and why it's important to the song. So that way anybody listening kind of understands. But like the Green Day, to me, that's something where it was one of the first things I did was ask my wife to a Green Day concert. And we had just met, and 4 weeks later, she's coming down from New Hampshire to go see Green Day and Blink 182 with me. So to not talk about it, that on the Green Day episode felt like it would be very anticlimactic and not real of where these songs really relate to me. Because at the end of the day, one thing that has been one of our Achilles heels is people assume, because of our name being Playlist Wars, that people are going to come on and we're legitimately going to argue and fight over the songs, calling each other out, saying this song sucks, saying you're an idiot for picking this song. That's kind of the opposite of what we do. every topic we pick is something that both Gomez and I agree is something we enjoy. For Gomez, because I'm the music nerd, sometimes I'm pitching bands to him and he'll say, let me go down that rabbit hole. Let me listen. Because if I don't like it, I don't want to go into a show half-assed. So Eric Church was one of the first ones. I'm like, dude, I really want to do an Eric Church episode. He goes, I don't know a thing about him. Let me listen. 2 days later, he came back. He goes, I'll do Eric Church. I'm digging this stuff. And he came out with 10 songs and beat the rest of the panel. And that's been his like Cinderella story since episode 2. But at the end of the day, he still had the kind of the, I don't know what the word would be, but the spidey sense to hone in on what songs people would resonate the most as an Eric Church newbie. And that played out in his favor. So it has to be a topic we like. And if somebody picks a song that we don't like, we could say, hey, we're not a fan of that song, but we're never going to trash the other person or make fun of them and make it like this thing where everyone's arguing over the songs. That's not what it's about, because it's celebrating these songs. Because at the end of the day, people's votes on our playlists are just as subjective as our putting together the playlists. So it's opinions of opinions, and it's kind of this weird circle. So the one thing we wanted to make sure the show never became was an argument, that it's stuck with the fact that we'll lightheartedly joke with each other and have a little fun at the sake of certain songs or at the sake of each other, but it's all done in good fun and never maliciously. And I think explaining that to people sometimes makes them raise an eyebrow at first, but that's truly how we think the show is succeeding, because when people come on, they say, wow, we were expecting a battle. And I said, no, it's kind of tongue in cheek, playlist wars and the battle of, because at the end of the day, we're not really arguing about it because we know their subjective opinions. We love the artist, but if we don't resonate with a song and let's say, Brett, you chose a song that didn't resonate with me, but I love the artist. I'm not going to trash you for that. Your story is going to be part of your pitch for why it should have been voted for.
I'd have to sell it
Nick,
to you. Yeah.
Exactly. You got to sell it. And sometimes the stories win the show. Sometimes the stories lose the show. So you got to be very careful.
Yeah, it's something I appreciate about your podcast is that positivity, because it's something we kind of battle with here, because we give our opinions on new albums, old albums. And if, like, for instance, I saw a band the other day that I've been seeing for a long time, and I didn't think they put on a great show. And I felt like shitty saying that this band didn't put on a good show, because I don't want to bring that negativity, but I also want to be honest. And it's kind of this battle of trying to still be sincere without just trashing other bands or people's art.
That makes 100% sense. And put it this way, on episode, I want to say it's 5 or 6, the Battle of U2. I enjoy U2, but I'm not a mega fan. So when I put my playlist together, one of my top 10 songs, and I will go to my grave with this one because I truly believe it, is their cover of Christmas Baby Please Come Home from a very special Christmas album. Now, I see you both giggling.
No, I think it's a great Christmas song.
Yeah, but Gomez and Chris, our friend from high school, they lost it. They were cracking up. They thought I was trolling them. And I said, no, I legitimately love this song. And it became the butt of a joke that ran through 30 episodes where people kept bringing it up. People on social media brought it up. And at the end of the day, I will still have that in my top 10 U2 songs playlist because of how it made me feel around the holidays. That was when I was my biggest U2 fandom, was around that time. And it just sat perfectly in with my playlist. Most U2 fans went, come on. And I understand that. I knew I wasn't going to win by picking it, but I had to be honest. I had to go with my heart in that one. Yeah. So I totally get that. Now, when it comes to trashing a band or an album, I will be honest if I don't feel an album's as strong as, but I'm not going to go into an album saying the riff on that song sucks.
No, I didn't like
No.
it because XYZ, but you don't want to just be blatantly malicious because that's not fun for anyone.
No.
Yeah, and a lot of reviewers go down that road. A lot more in movies, but in some music reviews, they do kind of go down the path of trashing what they don't subjectively like. Now, what I would do in that situation, if I was critiquing a song on a new album, let's say there was a few songs on Shinedown's latest release that just got released, Planet Zero, that were a miss for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
However,
Talking about that.
in the scope of the entire album, they made sense. So the single, when it came out prior to the album being released, I said, I'm having a hard time hearing where they're coming from here. So I'm not going to say I don't like it, but it just doesn't hit yet. And then when you hear it in the scope of the album, it makes more sense because thematically, Planet Zero to me is as much of a concept album for the state of the world in 2022 as Attention was to the state of people's mentality the year that album came out. Mental health, that was kind of a running theme through the album. And I felt like personally, Attention was slightly stronger to me, but I've only listened through Planet Zero twice. So 6 months from now, that could totally change. So I'm not going to trash it because I'm just not there yet. When you don't have enough time to marinate on an album, first impressions.
You gotta, some albums might hit you right away, but some you might have to live with for a little and come around on later or not. Like it's all relevant.
Some are slow cookers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I wanted to ask about your podcast, the set of like rules you have for drafting these songs and the playlists. Have they changed over the years? Was it always the idea of if multiple people pick the same song, we all discuss it at once? Like, because I love that. So
we did that from episode 1. Because I think somewhere in episode 1, the Battle of Metallica, we had the same song. And somebody, I don't remember who, just said, oh, it's like a trifecta when the horses come in. We all got it. And we ran with it. And it didn't even dawn on us till about 20 episodes in. What happens if we get it all in the same number? What are we going to call that? And we're like, oh my God, that's a bingo. It didn't happen for a very long time. Let's just leave it at that. I don't want to spoil it. But when it happens for the first time on the show, it is a pretty big, momentous moment in our little world. But it kind of came about organically. And the reason we said, let's talk about it at the same time, just from a continuity perspective of the show, if I lead off with track 1 and I talk about the song for 90 seconds, and then 30 minutes later, somebody picks it at track 5, it almost feels like we've already talked about that, but now we're going back to it. And then if 20 minutes later, someone has it at track 9, we're now going back to that song a third time, and it almost feels redundant.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if we all talk about the song all at once, yes, we're kind of filling the board in all over the place, but everybody can kind of hear everybody's arguments about that song and why it resonates with them all in one spot. So that's kind of how that part came about.
Yeah, I love that idea. It works very well.
Thank you. Thank you. Dumb luck.
And then Brian, like, where did the idea from, like, I guess to get the audience involved? Because I feel like I listen to like a lot of podcasts, but none really involve the audience in a way that I feel that you guys do. Like when you're listening, like you're like pretty much you're writing down everyone's playlist. If you like, there's a B-side that's picked and you never heard it before, you might like go back and listen to it before like you vote. So like, how did that all come together where like you knew you were going to leave this up to the audience and kind of make them a part of the show as well as like you guys?
That was the goal from episode 1, to have voting and have it be an opinion of opinions. That was one of like the bylines of the show at the beginning. And then we changed it to 1 topic, 3 playlists. You decide who's best. And that kind of sums up the show in less than 10 seconds. But we wanted to include people more than just voting. We didn't want it to be a one-way conversation where we just said our piece, and then people voted, and that was the end of the discussion. Because from episode 1, people started saying to us on social media, I don't know why you picked blank. I don't know why you opened with blank. I don't know why you closed with blank. So the conversation was there. And as a music nerd, I have to respond and kind of get into that discussion with people. So we started putting out the topics the week before we record. And then people chime in on Twitter. And I spend, and Gomez, hours going through everybody's comments, writing the song name and the artist with their name and handle underneath it, and putting them in alphabetical order. So that way, if 10 different people chime in on a song, we're not scrolling up and down in Twitter when we're recording. I could just look at the pick list and say, oh, here are 6 other people, as we call them, playlisters, who have chimed in with this song, because the people that listen are just as fanatical about crafting playlists and making mixtapes and burning mixed CDs like we did growing up. They're part of that mindset and that culture. So we want to make it very well known that the listeners are just as much a part of the show as we are. And it's just one big playlister family discussing it. And their feedback comes in the votes. But at the end of the day, they're also part of the discussion as well. So we always encourage people to call in and leave voicemails when we do a topic, because if we could roll people in to talk about the songs themselves, great. We also like to give people shout outs that agreed with us or that disagreed with us, because at the end of the day, none of us are right. So
But you guys truly make it feel like a family, though, and it's like awesome to hear. Like when you guys call out each person, it's again, I've never heard it before your show, and it's one of my favorite aspects of it.
that is kind of our goal, is to build a community with this. Even when we reveal the results, we say thank you, but there's no like rubbing it in people's faces. There's no, because at the end of the day, the votes are kind of just part of this conversation. There's no belt that any of us are wearing. There's no bragging rights, because all it is opinions. And the conversation about the episode and about the songs is the takeaway from each episode. We want people to write into us and say, hey, here are my 10 songs. I agree with you here. I disagree with you there. Not to say I'm right, you're wrong, but to say, I like the way you went with this. Here's the way I will actually take the time when it's a band I love and people send in their top 10s. I'll hop on my phone and pull up those 10 songs in a row and play them and be like, I like where he went with it. And I'll actually respond saying, dude, I never thought of these 2 songs back to back. I love it. And that's part of the conversation, because the listeners are just as much a part of the dialogue as we are. We just happen to be recording it.
That's part of the fun of playlists or burning CDs and stuff, is that you're not just picking your favorite songs off an album. You're crafting an order and a flow, and it adds this whole extra dynamic to it that is
That's
just
right.
real fun to work with.
And that's, to me, is the most fun of the show, is putting it together. And people have told us we sound like broken records when we talk about how hard it is to put it together. But when you have 7 days and you have a catalog like the Rolling Stones, who have dozens of albums, and you're going through dozens of albums with a 7-day turnaround to pick 10 songs from a catalog of over 300 songs, where if you're a fan of the Rolling Stones, even if you like half of their songs, you still have to trim that down from 150 to 10. And you have to pick which ones. Like, there's certain songs when we pick a band, I'll say, oh my God, this is definitely kicking off my playlist. This is definitely ending my playlist. The other 8, I'll be sitting there 10 minutes before we're about to record going, nope, let me put this here. I think this song leads better into this. It's that's it. And then the whole episode, you're explaining that. And you do sound like a broken record, but when you're crafting it and you're trying to tell a story so that the listeners vote for you and they kind of feel where your songs come from, it does add a layer of pressure.
Yeah, that kind of brings us nicely to the playlist war. We wanted to bring you on to kind of share with our listeners how you guys do it. and each draft 5 songs. Brett, do you want to introduce it? Because this was your
Yeah, sure.
idea.
So since we're right in the middle of summer now, I figured we could put together a nice summer playlist. And with the rule being, it doesn't have to be like, there doesn't have to be summer in the title or a song about summer. It could be something you just enjoy listening to when it's hot out and you're in the backyard barbecuing or by the pool or whatever you're doing in the summer. So we figured we throw together 5 tracks that have to go on our summer list, no matter what occasion. So with that, Brian, we'll let you do the honors and kick us off.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. I've never actually started a Playlist Wars episode because we always throw to the guests. So awesome. All right. Well, we're talking about summer. And if you've ever listened to Playlist Wars, it is no shock that my favorite artist of all time is Tom Petty. I probably said it 10,000 times across all the episodes. And when you think summer, you always think Tom Petty. And I'm going with the second single from 1989's Full Moon Fever, and I'm going with Running Down a Dream. That song is the ultimate road trip anthem. That song starts, that riff kicks in. You want to put the top down on your convertible, roll the windows down, turn it up, sunglasses on, wind blowing in your hair, and Tom just walks you through it, or runs you through it. Technically, I should say it's Running Down a Dream. He's not moseying. The song reached number 23 on the Billboard US Hot 100, number 1 on the Billboard Album Rock Tracks chart. For me, this song also has a special place in my heart because when I went to Super Bowl 42, where the New York Football Giants beat the undefeated New England Patriots, Tom Petty was the halftime performer. So I got to see my favorite artist perform at one of the greatest days of my life as a Giants fan, watching the David and Goliath story. He closed with this song. So to me, it instantly became one of my favorite Tom Petty songs just for that story alone. And a little fun fact about it, if you own the CD, you got to listen to the CD in its entirety. The original pressing actually has a hidden track that is in the pre-roll of the track after Running Down a Dream. So if you skip past the CD, you will not hear this. But if you're playing the CD from start to finish, right after the song ends, Tom will come on and say, "Hello, CD listeners. We've come to the point in this album where those listening on cassette or record will have to stand up or sit down and turn over the record or tape. So in fairness to those listeners, we'll now take a few seconds before we begin side 2. He pauses for a second and goes, "Thank you. Here's side 2. Fun little fact about Full Moon Fever if you don't own that on CD. And then cover songs, because I do this on every Playlist Wars episode. In 2018, ZZ Ward covered the track for the theme to NASCAR on NBC. And in 2020, Lucinda Williams released a Tom Petty tribute album named after and including a cover of my track 1, Tom Petty, Running Down a Dream.
Love it.
A great pick.
Great pick.
I actually had Tom Petty on my list as well, but it wasn't that song.
All right. What do you got?
All right, Nick, you mind if I just jump in right now?
Yeah, go for it.
So this was my track 3, but I had Tom Petty, American Girl as my number 3. Because I feel like in the summer, if you're in any bar or restaurant, there's like a live band that's probably covering this, or it's like on over the loudspeakers. But it truly is a great summer song. Like it just has that build and that energy. And it's one you roll the windows down for when you're driving down the shore. And I just feel like it captures like it doesn't really hit the same in the winter when I listen to that song, but like in the summer, the air is nice and it's not like you're not like totally sweating in the humidity, but it's one of those songs that I feel like it just screams summer to me. Like whenever it's in so many of my summer memories as well over the years because of it always being played when I'm out. So Tom Petty, American Girl, number 3. It's easy for me to slot it in right there.
Nice.
Now I want to know, do we have a trifecta? I'm sorry, I don't want to take this over. It's ingrained in my memory. Do we have a trifecta?
I'm sorry, we do not have a trifecta.
Oh, he gets the
axe.
trifecta killing axe.
Oh man, I foreshadowed it and everything. So my first pick, I went with Rolling Stones' "Gimme Shelter" off of Let It Bleed. That
Oh, yeah.
that intro is just when I hear those chords come in, I just know it's time to start cracking some beers and hanging out. It is just a fantastic build up song. I know the lyrics aren't necessarily the most upbeat in terms of what they're talking about, but that song just makes me want to get the party started. It just feels like summer's here. I love it.
Oh my God. And coming from an album opener perspective, pure fire, pure fire.
It's hard to
Yeah.
beat.
Oh
Right.
my God. Honestly, easily in my top 3 favorite Stone songs of all time. So
Yeah.
zero denying it. I just don't have any Rolling Stones on my list of endless bands to choose from. But I love that friggin' tune, man. That is a great pick.
Yeah, it rips. It rips. So
I did
now
not have Rolling Stones
no-
either. So
no Stones? I'm not even like the huge, like I'm more like Beatles, Pink Floyd, but that Give Me Shelter just resonates. Like I just
Oh,
love that song. It's
It's a
just such,
monster.
yeah. I kick off so many playlists with that song, so it only felt right to put it here.
if Gomez was here, he'd probably bring up one of the movies it's in because it's
That's
used
exactly
frequently in
right.
films. So especially Martin Scorsese movies.
Yeah.
Yes.
So pick 2. We go back to Brian. You're the
Well,
expert
Brett,
here.
Well, Brett, I don't think if I know
I
I'm
didn't do
not
it. You're
filling
right.
this
Yeah.
in, but shouldn't Brett be doing number 1 right now?
Yep.
Yeah,
Tom
yeah.
Petty was my
I
number
feel
3.
like
You're right.
I feel
Apologies.
like I'm cheating you guys. I'm not filling in the brackets here. I'm just doing this from memory. So
No, that you're
No,
right.
no, you're right.
That was a good call.
I got excited. Take it away, Brett.
All right. So I have one out of left field here, but I feel like it's the perfect way to kick off a summer playlist. And I might get judged for this one, but I don't care. But I'm going with Len's Steal My Sunshine. This song, it's like dumping pop rocks and Coke, shaking it up, taking the top off. And that's just a summer song, always and forever will be. So I have some fun facts here on this one. So this track was originally released as part of the Ghost soundtrack, as it was released on June 22nd of 1999. Fun fact, there were a lot of songs from 1999 that almost made it onto my list. So I had to kind of diversify it a little bit, but we'll touch more on that later. And this song went on to reach number 3 on the US mainstream top 40, number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100, and number 7 on the US adult top 40. And fun fact with the loop in the song, that's actually Andrea True Connections More with that frequent doot that loops throughout the entire song. But like this one, I remember hearing it as a kid, and it just like it's so addictive, and it came out like right in the heat of summer, so it's always going to be on summer playlists. And I still love the song, even though they were a one-hit wonder.
It's a good pick. I had to throw it on to pick up on it. I won't lie. But
Oh, you
it's
don't know that
definitely-
one?
I know it now that I put it on.
Okay.
It's definitely got those summer vibes for sure.
I was gonna say there was no place you could go in the summer of 1999 and not you could go to a funeral in the summer of 1999 and that song was playing. It
You hear it
was
in the distance.
everywhere. And if I'm not mistaken, they're one of those groups that might have had a follow-up that actually charted, but because Steal My Sunshine, I might be wrong here though, because I don't want to spend time researching it, but I almost feel like they had a song after that. And it's one of those snow situations where everyone's like, oh, it's Informer. But then they don't realize Girl, I've Been Hurt was another top 40 hit. And then they go, wait a minute. And then you go back and they listen to it and they go, oh my God, that was the hit. Like you don't even remember the
That might be
song.
happening here.
That might be, maybe I'm wrong. I might. And here's the other thing. I, in no way, shape or form, I always kind of give the thing. I will admit if I don't know something, and this one I don't know, but I want to say they had a follow. I just remember hearing this name for longer than Steal My Sunshine, but I might totally be wrong. And no, it's not on my list.
Okay, that's my next question.
It's not on my list either.
All right. I'm on an island there.
Yeah, it's okay though.
Nothing wrong with that.
That
Yeah.
could win you votes being on
It's
that.
very
island,
true.
So, all right. So I guess for my track 2, then, if I'm doing this
Yep.
round table
Yep, you're right.
correctly,
Yeah.
obviously I had to go country somewhere in my playlist. and I'm going to do it right here and now. Third single from 2008's The Foundation. I'm going with Zach Brown Band's Toes. Reached number 25 on the US Billboard Hot 100, number 1 on the US Hot Country Songs chart. Honestly, and we talk about this a lot on the Battle of Zach Brown Band on that episode of Playlist Wars. Zach Brown Band is meant for summer. They are a summer music band. Most of their tours are during the summer. And let's be honest, sure, the lyrics are a little bit on the nose with the whole summer theme. I got my toes in the water, ass in the sand, not a worry in the world, cold beer in my hand. I mean, I'll be honest, if I had that option, I would be on my iPhone doing this episode, just sitting there with the ocean water in the background. And I'd be like, just mix it out of the recording or whatever. I think all three of us would be sitting on a beach right now if we could. And I love the vibe and feeling of that song. So I went with that for my track 2.
That's a great one. I kind of wish I put that. That might be an honorable mention for me, now that you mention it.
Yeah, that's a great pick. And it just, that song reeks of summer. It's hard to hang out, especially down the shore, and not have that song pop on at some point.
It always makes you
I am on
happy
an
when it's
island.
on too.
Yeah. It's one of those songs, makes you want to crack a beer.
Definitely.
Sensing a theme here.
and being I'm on an island for that song, what an island it is to be on, because it's got my toes in the water and ass in the sand with my only pick of Zach Brown Band.
Life is good today.
Yes.
Okay, Brett. Number 2. I do not have any Zach Brown Band.
Is it me track 2 or you track 2?
I don't know. I threw off the order and now I'm very confused.
I was gonna say, I think it's you right now.
Okay, so I am going in the theme of on the nose songs and also a cover for you. Can you guess it? Don Henley original, but the Atari's version, Boys of Summer.
Love
This
it.
song, when me and my wife first started dating, she had this mix CD in her car and this song was on it. And it takes me back to 2007, 2008 when we would be hanging out. And the song has lasted since then. It's always on. We played it at our wedding. It's just an amazing summer song. I love that it's a little faster than the original. They replaced the Deadhead sticker with the Black Flag sticker in their lyrics. And I think it peaked at number 2 on the rock charts. Linkin Park had it beat, but it's a fantastic song, fantastic cover, essential summer playlist song.
Could not agree more. I absolutely love that song. We have an episode of the Battle of Punk and Ska covers, and I won't say where. I'll leave something to the imagination, but that's on my playlist. And we also have a Battle of Road Trip songs that song is on my playlist. And what goes better than a road trip, like I talked about with Tom Petty's Running Down a Dream? So I might have just spoiled 2 songs from that episode. Sorry, folks. But episode 18, if you want to check out the other 8, because I could tell you, at least from my list, those songs aren't on it, but you guys might mention them. So I might be giving away more of the farm with that one. But regardless, absolutely love the pick.
The beginning of
not
a
on my
great
list.
road trip playlist, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Nick, I remember the first time I heard that song on K-Rock. Like Brian, you remember K-Rock too,
What a
back when
throwback.
it was around. I mean, I know it's back now, but like the OG K-Rock, if you will.
Yes.
And that they played that song the entire summer. What was that, 2003?
3, yeah.
Yeah. I kept listening to the radio all day long, just hoping they'd play it, like, because this was before like Spotify and everything. So obviously I went out and bought the CD after a while, but K-Rock was my baby back then.
They also have another fantastic cover of Skid Row's I Remember You. If you haven't heard, look up their cover of that. It's pretty badass.
That was Punko's 80s, I think, right? That was off of?
Yep, that's right. Also has Newfound Glory's Heaven on it, which I love as well.
That's a good one. All right, we're up to my track 2 now, right?
Mhm.
So I feel like I'd be doing my New Jersey heritage a disservice if I didn't mention this next artist, but I have to bring the boss in here. My track 2 is Bruce Springsteen's Born to Run. That song, it's his first top 40 hit, which I didn't know until I started doing some research on the song. It peaked at number 23 in the Billboard Hot 100. And it's just a song, like, you can just see like a summer night almost when it comes on. It's like you're like late at night, kind of like dealing with your thoughts, or sit in the yard, have a couple beers, and like the torches are lit, and you're kind of winding down from a barbecue. Like Born to Run, I feel like fits perfectly in that environment, and it just I can't get enough of the guitar in that song, and it just if Summer was a guitar riff, I think I'd pick it to be Born to Run. Yep.
Man, I
Great
feel
pick.
like I should hand in my New Jersey card. I don't have the Boss on my list.
Oh
and
no.
I legit feel guilty about that. Like, man, that's a great pick. That is a fantastic pick. And obviously, at some point, we understand we're a New Jersey-based show, so a Boss episode is inevitable.
Oh, of course.
But we're just kind of waiting on that one. Maybe a milestone episode, I think, for that. Or maybe we'll bring him on, the Boss, because we all know each other here in Jersey, right?
Yeah.
It's all loosely connected.
Great pick, Brett.
Thank you.
I don't have any Bruce.
All right. Is it back to Brian for track 3?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because Brett, you had Tom Petty, American Girl for track 3.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. So for my track 3, I guarantee nobody has it. If you do, we've just become best friends, like in Step Brothers. But the album's not even out yet. And I'm going with the latest single. This is my summer song for 2022. The latest single from the Interrupters called In the Mirror. Currently my youngest daughter's favorite song. And after seeing the band last week at the Stone Pony, seeing her up on my wife's shoulders, singing along with every word of this song with her hand up in the air, losing her 9-year-old mind, it just, I welled up during the song. And it's a fun, happy, upbeat song that you just want to dance to. But I'm watching her sing all the words, just rocking out. And it just felt so great as a parent. I turn around, my older daughter is behind me singing along and dancing. So this song instantly, that memory is just burned in my head. And the Interrupters are up and coming. They're on Hellcat Records. Maybe in the mainstream. In the punk scene, they're very well known. Last year, they opened the Hella Mega Tour, which was Weezer, Fall Out Boy, and Green Day. The Interrupters were the opening band. So they got a lot of exposure. Their new album, Into the Wild, I think is what's going to break them mainstream. I really, really do. They're a brilliant blend of second wave ska and punk. The music is infectious. You want to sing along with every word. And this song, it's a little more pop leaning than some of their other stuff. But I think that's good because it's a gateway to get people that are not necessarily punk fans or two-tone ska fans into that sound. And I think it's a great introduction. It's on several Spotify playlists right now, as well as the new rock singles on iTunes Spotlight. So the album drops early August. I've been preaching praises to this band for months on social media. I would love to get them on sometime. I think they're going to be one of the ones to look out for in the next few years. So my track 3 is the Interrupters, In the Mirror.
Ska's not dead.
I know what I'm deep diving at work tomorrow now.
I can't wait to hear it because I've been telling so many people, and I'm sitting there when I give a recommendation to people don't realize when I send it, I don't mean like, hey, whenever you have a chance. I mean, like, I'm waiting for your response.
Yeah.
What do you think? So now that you said that, tomorrow I'm going to be messaging you on
Oh,
Twitter.
I will definitely let
Like,
you know.
what do you think? Where are we at? Interrupters. Give me 10.
I can't wait to listen. It sounds like I don't know how I haven't heard of them before. Like, it sounds like everything like right up me and Nick's alley.
Considering some of the songs you've talked about, when people say I don't know the Interrupters, I say think of Joan Jett singing for the English Beat. And they have a documentary that's on YouTube called This Is My Family. It's a concert from Tokyo, and she meets Joan Jett and explains how big of an influence Joan Jett is on her. And then when you listen to those songs and you put those two together, she's in no way, shape, or form an imitation of Joan Jett. She just, when I'm introducing it to somebody who doesn't know the band, I use that as like here's somebody you know that you might be able to grasp onto to kind of entice you to check them out.
Oh,
And the
wow.
more people I could get to check out the Interrupters right now, the better. I think they're going to be that big one day.
And they have the approval of Fall Out Boy, Weezer, and Green Day too, so that's even more ammo.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They're on the right path.
Oh, that's great. We got to keep an eye out for sure. Definitely going to dive in tomorrow. All right. For my third pick, I am going with Memory by Sugar Cult.
Nice.
That's a good one.
I remember I must have just been in high school, maybe even still eighth grade, and me and my friend were digging through his older brother's CD collection. And by the grace of God, we pulled out Palm Trees and Power Lines. And I'm so glad we did, because that album is perfect head to toe. And it just is such a fun song. It's a song that any cover band worth their salt of the 90s 2000s is gonna bring out at a show. So I'm still making memories with this song to this day, and it makes me think of summers in LBI, summers as a kid here. Yeah, Sugar Cult, can't go wrong with Memory. It's a monster of a song.
Having played in a New Jersey cover band for many, many years before I went out and started doing the acoustic thing I do now. Yes, I think it's a law. I think you can't go into a bar like, you're not playing Memory, get out. You're fired. I mean, it's a staple, and I love the song. If you're a fan of the song, make sure to check out Punk Goes Acoustic. I think it is. There's
Yeah.
an acoustic cover of Memory on there. It's tuned down a half a step, I think, or a full step, but it works so well acoustically. It's gorgeous. So highly suggest checking that one out. Sadly, didn't make my list, but 1000% I understand why that would make a summer playlist.
Yeah.
That's amazing song.
The kick drum comes in, and then you got that guitar riff, and it's got a nice little solo in there, nothing too crazy. It's just very well-rounded, fun song. And that album is so good. I still put that album on.
Song was everywhere too when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a pop punk monster.
All right, we know
All right.
my track 3 was Tom Petty, American Girl, so we'll throw it to Brian for track 4.
Okay. Well, my track 4 now, coming from a song from 2022, I wanted to go back a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean a lot of bit. And I'm going back to 1964 for a song written by Kenny Young and Arthur Resnick, but recorded and made famous by the Drifters. And it's Under the Boardwalk. Reached number 4 on the Billboard US Hot 100. And in 2010, the song ranked number 489 on Rolling Stone's list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. We are from New Jersey, all three of us. The Jersey Shore is part of our lineage, if you want to call it that. And even though this song is not specifically about the Jersey Shore, I hear the song and my mind instantly is taken to Seaside Heights as a kid, to Wildwood as a kid. And in my teens and in my 20s, going down there with my now wife, the song just sits with me. And my father was part of a used car club, and I'm sorry, an old car club growing up, where people would restore old cars, and we'd go to swap meets and car shows. And I heard oldies music all the time. And this was always in the mix. Unbelievably beautiful song. And then cover versions. We talked about them earlier. Rolling Stones, in the same year, covered the song for their 12x5 album. And John Mellencamp released the track as a B-side to his ROCK in the USA single. And even with the B-side status, his version reached number 19 on the Billboard Top Rock Tracks chart. And then the song has also been covered by Sam and Dave, Los Lobos, Bruce Willis, yes, Die Hard's Bruce Willis, and the Beach Boys, just to name the few. But obviously, none of them, including the Stones, top the original by the Drifters. My track 4 is Under the Boardwalk.
That's the perfect throwback track for a summer playlist. And now I'm mad I didn't think about that one.
Again, it's on the nose. I get it. But man, you could go on the boardwalk in the wintertime. It just won't feel the same. That song feels like summer to me.
It does.
Especially the Jersey Shore references, and just
Yeah.
it just takes you right there.
You can almost taste the hot dogs and French fries they sell. Like, you could, there's not many songs you could smell, but when they say that, I smell those French fries in the peanut oil. Like I that's just they're ingrained.
Okay, so I guess it's my fourth pick.
It is.
I'm gonna go with The Spins by Mac Miller. This song,
Wow.
this mixtape came out right when we graduated high school. He was graduating high school. It was huge. It samples Empire of the Sun's Half Mast, and it's just this upbeat kind of like synth part. And the song is just it's just him daydreaming about becoming rich and famous, which he would later go on to do. And it's just an upbeat song by a kid with his whole life ahead of him, us with the summer ahead of us. Like it just feels free. And I wanted to get a little hip hop on my playlist, and who better to do it than Mac? So The Spins, pick
It's a
four.
fantastic pick. Excuse me. It's a fantastic pick. I have hip hop in my playlist. I just don't have that song.
Nice.
So that's all I'll say for now.
Now I'm feeling bad. I forgot hip hop too. All these good ones. Well, that's what happens when it's broad. Like there's so many different ways you can go with it. Which brings me to mine, so I really didn't like this song for years, but it's grown on me over time. And this song just has such like a memory attached to it. Like I just hear this song and it takes me back in time. And I just see like summer camp as a kid and just summers like in my childhood. But this pick is LFO's Summer Girls. So it has like a whole different like feeling now. Like two of the members have passed away, Rich Cronin and Devin Lima. But it's such of a time, and it still sounds great today somehow. And I think I just disrespected it at the time because it's like, oh, another boy band's out here. But no, like it's actually like a really good song, surprisingly. Well, not surprisingly, it's all subjective. But the song dropped on June 29th, 1999, went on to peak at number 3 in the Billboard 100. And in 2019, Billboard actually ranked it as the 43rd greatest song of 1999. It was a huge song back then. It's really catchy. And fun fact, Chinese food would actually make me sick because I have a peanut allergy. So I have that connection to it as well.
Oh man, and I just talked about the French fries on the boardwalk.
I know. It's like, oh no, I can't eat those.
Damn, I'm sorry, dude.
It's messed up.
Canola oil, we're good.
That's a good
Oh,
pick.
man.
That song must have been on a Now CD.
It was.
Just feels
It
like a
definitely
Now
was.
CD hit.
Yeah, it's a definite. I didn't go with any boy bands on mine, but look, anybody that says they're too cool to enjoy a couple of like to me, a good pop song is a good pop song.
That's what it was.
And I'm sorry, but the Backstreet Boys, New Kids on the Block, NSYNC, and then on the other side of the spectrum, the Spice Girls, they all had catchy pop songs.
They did.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't hear Wannabe and you're not bobbing your head a little bit, I mean, there's nobody that like, if someone says I'm too cool to like the Spice Girls, I'm like, come on. Zebrahead covered the Spice Girls. They rock. It's a great song. I'm sorry. So I totally get it. But my track 5 is a little bit of a different direction.
What if you worked at a grocery store and heard Wannabe 10 times a day for a decade, and now you hate it more than any other song? Is that allowed?
I think I would that could be any song. That could be the greatest song in the world. That could be Tribute by Tenacious D. And no matter what song it is.
We'll never hate the D. No, Wannabe I passionately hate, and I stand by it. It's funny that you went to that one. We've brought it up many times.
Wow.
Sorry, Spice Girls. I just can't.
I respect it though. So it's only half the show.
Nick, if you hate it though, look up Zebrahead's cover because I see you like pop punk in your playlist.
Yeah,
Their cover is absolutely amazing.
all right.
Amazing.
That could be my compromise.
Yeah.
But my wife wants to put on Wannabe. I'll go to the Zebrahead cover.
Dude,
And then we both win.
I'd be very curious what you think about it, considering how much you loathe the original. So
Oh, so where are we at in the? How do you keep track of these when you do them?
I keep a document open and I'm typing them in at all times. But being we're only doing 5,
Yeah.
I think I'm up now.
Yep, you are.
Correct?
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm keeping my running doc over here. So
Okay,
Brett's
good.
got it.
Yeah.
All right. So, like I said, I got one hip hop song and it's the last song of the night. So, I'm going back to 1991 for this one. I've talked about this song several times on Playlist Wars, and I'm going to say two words right now. When I say those two words, you're going to know exactly what song I'm talking about, hopefully. Or I'm going to really age and date myself and feel like a complete idiot for a second. So, drums, please. And I'm going with 1991's DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Summertime.
Yes.
Look, I'm not TMZ. I'm not a gossip magazine. I don't care what happened. I am not letting that situation take away from the 30 years of prior love that I have for this song. So I still have to represent it. The first time I heard it in 1991, I was a freshman in high school, and the song just, I'm like, I went out and bought the cassette single immediately. I'm like, I need this song in my life. And a decade later, when hip hop was in a different direction, that song would come on in the summer, and everybody would be like, leave that on. You know, at that point, it was Eminem and Jay-Z. So hip hop was in a totally different direction, but this song still hit. 2011, different version of hip hop. The song still hit. 2021, last summer, I put it on, and I'm still feeling it. It reached #1 on the U.S. Hot R&B and Hip Hop Songs chart, as well as #4 on the Hot 100, which is their highest charting single. Won them a Grammy Award. And in 2013, Rolling Stone magazine placed it at #9 in its best summer songs of all time. So I can't argue with that. It's in the name, and it's awesome. So my last track, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Summertime.
What a closer. That's a great one.
That is great closer.
Great show growing up too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Still
I haven't
holds
seen
up.
the new one, though, on NBC. I've heard good things.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I
It
remember
looks
coming
serious,
out.
so that's why I've like been avoiding it. It's like I don't really want a dramatic telling of the Fresh Prince. Like I love like the the sitcom version. So
Yeah, I like when Jazz gets thrown out the door.
yep.
All right, so for my fifth pick, I might alienate myself here, but I had to put them on because they are my summer band.
The
I'm
Spice
picking
Girls.
Free by Fish off Billy Breeze. Fish is my summer band. I follow them like they are a sports team in the summer. I listen to every show. I want to know what they're doing well, what songs they're pulling out, how long they're ripping on them. I absolutely love Fish, and it wouldn't be summer without them. Free just it opens with just like a huge C chord, and then it comes into this nice bright riff, and then it has lyrics like splashing in the sea and all these nice like summer vibes. And you just put this song on, roll down the windows, and just breathe in the air. And I just love this band. I love this song. So that's how I'm going to round out my playlist with a nice big jam.
Wow. I love that pick, dude. I'm a huge Fish fan. And
Yes.
my wife and I, she
Let's
is
go.
responsible for it because when I was driving home, because she was from New Hampshire and I was from New Jersey, I'm like, I need some new music to listen to because we were long distance relationship for the first year we were together. She handed me Farmhouse. So if I was picking a song from Fish for this list, I would have went with Heavy Things,
Oh, it's a
just
great one.
because that song, every time I hear it, I'm back in my car. It's 20 years ago. My wife and I are just dating, and I'm driving back and forth listening to Farmhouse and falling in love with Fish. So I am a big fan of the band. And now I'm actually kind of jealous. So if we were doing honorable mentions, that's my pick for tonight.
let's
Sorry,
go.
Brett. I don't know what,
No, that's okay.
but I got to go with that one just based on that story from my wife. So love it, love it, love it.
Yes.
Free's fantastic. You could do Song I Heard the Ocean Sing.
Yeah.
I
The
mean,
Lizards,
you could do
there's so many good ones.
even their new stuff, Sigma Oasis or Sing Monica from the new albums,
Yeah.
even though they feel a little bit more like Trey's solo
Structured.
stuff,
Yeah.
they still work really, really well as Fish songs. So
Yeah. They're just like the summer band for me.
let me know when you're doing a Fish episode. I want in.
Yes, we're
Deal.
amassing a Fish army because we have one other guest who wants in for a Fish episode.
and Nick
Well,
slowly teaching me the ways of fish. I'm
Yeah.
very new to the band still, but I like everything
Start
I've
with
heard so far.
Farmhouse. Start with
Farmhouse.
Farmhouse.
Okay.
Start with Atlantic City, August 7th, this next month.
Yeah, see, you can't. You see, that's the thing. When I've tried to introduce people to jam bands live, it's been harder for me than introducing people to the music first and then the jam band. So a band like
Interesting.
Mo, which is another one of my favorites, I have to hand people the No Doy CD and
Yeah.
say, listen before you come see them with me. Because if
Ah.
you don't like the 11-minute version of Rebubula on the album, you're sure as shit ain't going to like the 27-minute version they do in concert. So
That's a
fair
good point.
warning.
So Farmhouse.
That's
Yeah,
what
that's a
I
good
think
one.
that's the
Okay.
that's the shortest songs, very pop friendly. And I
Yeah.
think it's kind of like Trey Anastasio had an album out a few years later called Shine. It was their most mainstream sounding album, I would think. Even though there's some weird moments on it, they don't go hard on the weird on this album.
Yeah, that's very true. And I think a lot of people who might not really know Fish will know the song Farmhouse for sure, because that got pretty big as far as like radio hits go for them.
Yeah.
I'd also recommend Picture of Nectar. That was the one that got me into them.
I
But
love
that's
that
a
album.
little sillier maybe, or a little more
I got
weird.
2 to check out now,
Yeah.
along with the Interrupters. So it's gonna be a good day tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
we expect full. I
Yeah.
expect full Twitter threads, song by
I'm ready.
song, man.
But with that, I'll get to my last song, track 5. So what better way to send out my playlist than Yellow Card's Ocean Avenue? Mainly I
glad
picked
someone
this
did
one
it.
because I want that electric fiddle to just fade out and end my playlist. But mostly it's just such a, again, getting back to the Jersey thing, like how many Ocean Avenues are there in New Jersey? Like I can't even count them all with how many
I
there
think
are.
I
So
think we're each at one right now.
I'm pretty sure we are. But like even hearing that, I just like, it always reminded me of home. And I know they're probably talking about somewhere on the West Coast, but it still felt like a very New Jersey song to me and was really familiar with where I grew up. And the song surprisingly dropped on December 15th of 2003 of all times. And then it went on the chart at number 13 on the mainstream top 40, number 37 on the Billboard top 100. So this song was massive when it came out. It's the one that, like, it's the album and song that led me to Yellow Card. And I followed them until their time as a band came to an end. But now I think they're back again, kind of. We'll see. But Yellow Card, Ocean Avenue, set closer, playlist closer. This is the song for me for the summer.
I love that pick, man. That's another great one. That is fantastic. Had I not gone with the Interrupters for the new song, I was going to have something pop punk or ska in that spot. That would have easily been a contender. And that I also think the acoustic version on the Ocean Avenue Revisited album they put out
That's a great acoustic album.
is a beautiful version as well, because you really hear the melody. And that song, the melody shines. That's why it was such a big hit. It was a pop song with this punk underlay. But then when you listen to the acoustic version, you hear the pop element of the song come out and those gorgeous harmonies. The violin is so perfect. I love the fact that they incorporate a violin into punk, pop punk, whatever you want
It's
to
so
call
cool.
it. It works so well. And Colburn and Company has been blessed to be able to play with a violin player for the last 6 years. And believe it or not, I don't know why the hell we haven't put Ocean Avenue in. Probably because I can't hit the high notes of the chorus, but
And those
love
drums
that
are
pick.
pretty nasty too on the song.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Yeah, it's
I still don't know how he plays that fast.
I definitely checked that song out too. And then I thought, like, is there, because it's not even necessarily my favorite on the album, but then when I was looking at the rest of the album, as far as a summer song goes, like, that's it. That's like Way Away, Breathing, great songs. But if you're picking a summer song, it's got to be Ocean Avenue.
Yeah. Only One is a fantastic song, but it doesn't remind me of summer. It almost reminds me of winter, that one.
Yeah.
I don't know
That's
why.
definitely a winter song.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had our friends walk down the aisle at our wedding to a strings version of Only One. And then I saw someone mention the other day it's actually more of a heartbreak song, but there weren't lyrics, so I'm standing by it.
And they also do a fantastic cover of Michelle Branch's Everything from one of those Pop Goes Punk albums. So if you haven't heard that one, that's another one to definitely pull out and look up.
Great use of violin on that one too.
Perfect. Yeah.
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 All right, well, Brian, we know you gotta go. But we wanted to thank you so much for coming on. This has been awesome. You're welcome back anytime. If you ever want to just talk music or whatever, there's a new album you're psyched about. Come on and chat about it. We'd
Oh,
love to
hell
have you.
yeah, guys. You have no, trust me, this has been an absolute blast. I love talking music with people, especially the fact that we're neighbors here in Jersey. I think it's amazing. Had a great time. Anytime you guys want, let me know. Hell, maybe after In the Wild comes out for the Interrupters, we could talk about that if you guys like it.
Yeah.
I know you're going to like it, but I don't want to set the bar too high. So they're all right. They're all right.
I think we can start planning that one. I feel like we're gonna like them.
Plant the seed there.
Yeah.
But I thank you guys so much for having me on and sincerely appreciate the conversation we had tonight. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you,
Thank
Brian.
you.
Next time we have you on, we'll have you sell us on why people should still be buying CDs as well. We didn't get to that tonight, but
Oh God, that's a whole other topic. We
Yeah.
could do a whole episode on that right there and then alone.
which I'm fascinated to hear your answer for. So definitely next time.
Okay, you got it. It's a date.
Deal.
It's a deal. I should say a deal. Yeah. My wife would kill me. I'm not allowed to date other podcasters right now.
Mine would too. So.
Thank you so much, Brian. This has been awesome.
Thanks, Brian.
We'll talk to you
Thank-
soon. Good luck
Sounds
with
good, man. Take
everything
care.
you got going on.
Thank you guys. Thank you. And same to you.
And we are back. Thank you to Brian. That was awesome. A lot of
Go
fun.
like and subscribe. Play to Playlist Wars
Yeah.
ASAP.
Yeah, great podcast. Really been enjoying it. Yeah, he's the man, dude. When he was dropping like knowledge bombs on his songs, I'm like, oh, I better start Wikipediaing things.
He doesn't mess around. He knows his stuff.
No, like, oh, you guys are both doing Billboard results. I think I got like one.
That's why after listening to his episodes, I'm like, I have to be really, really prepared for this playlist. So
Yeah, you were ready. I basically did exactly what I talked to him about that wouldn't work. I'm just like, I like these songs because they're good.
yeah, but then
Uh,
he got into why that does work though, because sometimes the personal story wins
Yeah.
the votes.
Yeah, they have a good like back and forth with him and Gomez, like two different sides of the music fan. Yeah, that was fun. I
We'll be
believe
back on.
Yeah, yeah, and hopefully we can go on theirs because that would be pretty cool. I liked his idea for teams. Me and you could
I
tag
do
team
too.
like Blink Draft.
Blinker tool, Brian. Blinker tool.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. You had a topic you wanted to bring to the table.
I did, because I was curious if this was just me or if anyone else ever has this thought, but for giving 2 weeks notice to a job, is there a certain song that you go to automatically? And is there a certain scale for what songs should be played for giving notice, depending on experience at said job?
You hate the job that you're leaving, you might play different songs than if you're going to miss the job you're leaving.
Exactly.
Well,
My
I
thoughts
think
exactly.
there's one really obvious answer that just has to be the top one. I hope you have it because I know I have it.
I'll let you go first.
I mean, 2 weeks by All That Remains. You know it.
Wow.
You
I
know
do
it.
know it. I do know it, but I can't believe I didn't think of that one.
it.
I'm more mad at myself right now than I am.
That's the
Oh man, that's the perfect one.
I can see it as you turn to stone, still clear as I hear you say, don't leave, don't give up on me. 2 weeks and you ran away.
Oh man, I should have played that one.
That's the yeah.
Another
Cool.
fun one is if you don't like the job, George Michael's Freedom.
Or is it Rage that has a song where they just scream freedom for a while?
It is. That's the last track on the self-titled.
Yeah, I do that one too. Is that the same song? Is it George Michael's cover? I know how these heavy bands like to cover George Michael's.
No, that's a Rage original.
Freedom. Oh yeah, I know this song.
Limp Bizkit did cover George Michael though. They
Yeah.
covered B.
You gotta have freedom. I could just picture this playing as you like strut out the door.
Freedom.
Yeah,
Get like a choir to follow you out.
that's a great one. Another one I had was Man Overboard by Blink. So sorry, it's over.
That's a great one too. You made a great point though, that a lot of these can cross over with breakup songs.
Yeah, it's true. You know, because you might miss your job, or you might be like, "Fuck you, I'm out of here."
You might play like Vitamin C's Graduation if you're
As
really,
we
really gonna miss your
go
job.
on. Be go on. What other? Did you have others?
I had, where's my little playlist here?
All right, I'll say another while you look that up. This is for after your 2 weeks are up. Why don't you get a job by The Offspring?
That is a good one.
Those are my job songs.
Goodbye to You, Michelle Branch.
It sounds like you're gonna miss this job, Brett.
I'll
Love it.
answer that someday in the future.
You know how to increment? Is that a word?
Yes.
Yeah.
Last day is next Thursday, which is how this topic came up. I'm starting a
As
new
we
job in a couple
go
weeks.
on, we remember. You could play second sucks for your new job if they're not your first choice. Yeah, I don't
My playlist.
I don't have too many job songs. There's definitely like Ever Changing by Rise Against is like a killer breakup song.
That's a great breakup song.
It could probably apply to a job if you wanted to. If you wanted to just besmirch the song by applying it to corporate America.
I would never.
Everything Rise Against is against. Without me.
Composure, August Burns Red.
Oh,
Wave goodbye to the past. You've got your whole life to lead.
oh, that's nice. It's a nice, hopeful one. I'm gonna go Without Me, Eminem. You could play that to your old job that you're giving 2 weeks to.
It's true. That's a good one. Now that I'm playing it into my headphones, like this is definitely a great one.
This whole segment is just me singing songs. Yeah, no, it's not. I've never thought to apply songs to job transitions before, but
Or hating your job, like The Year of a Dead Man's Hate My Life.
yeah, there you go. Hopefully, it doesn't apply to your new job.
No,
But
hopefully
instead
not.
Applies to your old job that you gave 2 weeks to.
What's these? It's like, I hate my job. My boss is a dick, is what he says in the song, right? I used to love that song when that came out.
Just a resignation letter over guitar.
So sick of the hobos, always begging for change. I don't like how they got to work, and I don't like how I got to work, and they just sit around and get paid.
That's good.
You have a Dead Man, remember that?
Yeah, I think I
Still
saw
around.
them. I think I saw them last year. Me and my uncle we went to see Buckcherry at Starland. He really wanted to go to Buckcherry, and I couldn't leave him hanging. And I think Theory of a Dead Man opened. No, I'm mixing up shows. I saw 10 Years open for Theory of a Dead Man.
Oh, okay.
It was post-COVID, and they just really wanted to tour. Because I'm like, you guys have been headlining for over a decade. Why am I seeing you open right now?
I was going to say, Buckcherry in Theory is like the Hey Remember tour.
Yeah. Buckcherry was pretty good, though. I got to say,
They
I was
were.
kind of like reluctant to go to that. And they put on a good show. The lead singer's like this like thin dude just covered in tattoos who loves his cocaine.
And crazy bitches.
Yeah. That was a fun show.
Sorry.
And my friend's band, who I work with, they're called The Fuzz. I don't know if they're still a band, but they opened. And what they were doing was they weren't opening on the tour, but I learned that bands do this. They'll just hit up local venues and be like, oh, you have a show this night. Do you want another band to open? And sometimes they get a yes. So it's like you'll just get a random local band, just kick it off. It's kind of cool.
Like that Contest Lit was doing, right?
Yeah, wonder whatever happened with that. I guess Cold Weather Kids didn't get it because I never saw anything.
Or maybe they didn't announce it yet, or were they supposed to?
I don't know. It's been like 3 months, 2 weeks. Yeah,
I feel like I've done. I feel like I've always gone to like a certain song before giving notice, or then like after notice when it's finally off your chest. And there's also songs going into the new role too, like we kind of mentioned as well. But I'm glad that's not just me. It's
yeah.
a thing people do.
I got another one. Free by Kids See Ghosts. Remember the Kanye Kid Cudi album? I
I do
feel
remember that one.
free. That album was great. I really I listened to the shit out of that album.
That was good. That was when
It was right
what was
after
that
Life of
Pusha
Pablo.
T EP was really good too.
Yeah, they came out at the same time. Was there
Yeah,
beef or was that Drake and Pusha T? I
it
think it
was
might have been
Drake and
Drake.
Pusha.
Yeah, I can't keep up. Yeah, that album was good. Kanye had a good little run in like his later years. Then I kind of
And
fell
then he
off
went
on
very crazy.
yeah, a little bit. I feel like he's due. Shouldn't he be talking about releasing an album by now?
He put one out last year.
Not releasing it, but just talking about it. What was the one that said like by being bipolar sucks or something like that? I love it, I hate it. I don't remember. It was some like
He put Donda out last year.
yeah, Donda I didn't love. The one before that was all right. Put the mountains on it. I can't think of the name of that album. But his Spotify picture is just a
Oh
black circle.
yay,
He has no man, he's crazy. Puts
yay
out
was
some,
that album in
oh, because that's the
2018.
Donda cover is just black. There was Jesus is King and Donda. I didn't really get into either of those too much. Yeah, you're right. Yay. That one was it was good, but it wasn't. It's hard to follow Life of Pablo. That album was really good.
That album's gonna always have a special place in my heart. That was like my
Yeah.
summer album of
I listened to the
2016.
shit out of that
Oh
album.
yeah,
And I that was back when I had like a 20-30 minute commute from my office. So like a Friday getting out of work, I would just put that on and just like go nuts in my car. Honestly, I think that's my favorite Kanye album. I know that's like blasphemy because it should be College Dropout or Late Registration, but I don't know. I really like Life of Pablo. What can I say? Great album.
it really was.
And I had this version that like leaked, so I had it like downloaded to my Spotify or something like that. And eventually, after like a couple of years, my downloaded file stopped working. So I was just listening to the actual version, and there was a bunch of different stuff. Like the verse in Ultralight Beam was different. There was just different like lyrics and other songs. So I guess I had like an unfinished album.
I think he was
Uh,
also like constantly editing it too and like re-uploading it. Because I remember
oh yeah, I'm a
what
fix
was the song
wolves.
he did with
Said I'm a fix wolves as soon as he released it.
well, yeah, that was it. Yep.
Yeah, and Ultralight Beam. There's a I think famous. Had the line like "Go to school to be a real estate agent," but like the version I had said something else.
And then he added Saint Pablo, right? Because didn't it end with Fade originally?
Yeah. Oh, that song is such a banger.
Your love is fade.
I feel it. Man, I gotta put that on this weekend. What a great album. It's a shame he's like, I
Crazy.
don't know. He's crazy, but like he hasn't been in the news lately, so maybe that's a good sign.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Did you
I don't know
see
though.
it wouldn't be a Gen Admission episode if we didn't talk Blink. Did you see they're back in the studio?
Legit, legit.
Mark put up a Instagram story of a bunch of Ernie Ball strings and he said back in the studio. So I don't know any other way to interpret that.
With Tom.
That's the question. And then there's all these rumors going on like, are they going to tour as a 4-piece if Tom comes back? And then if Tom comes back and they don't tour as a 4-piece, will they play anything off California in 9? I don't know. Maybe Bored to Death. Maybe songs that just Mark sings.
I really liked Nine too. I thought Nine was a great album.
Yeah, I didn't listen to that as much as California, but
Well,
it wasn't.
both of them are pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm also an Alkaline Trio fan, so I feel like that kind of
Yeah.
folds in naturally for me, which it might be harder for some.
Yeah. No, Nine was good. They were both, as far as like a band this late in their career, there's still enjoyable albums that I listened to a lot when they came out. I don't really go back to them too much. Maybe some songs, but like if I'm putting on Blink, I'm probably not putting on those two. But sometimes I want to listen to like San Diego and like some of those, or no, it's San Diego. That was the name.
You're right, San
That's
Diego.
because that's the one that's like all about the band. So it has that nice little nostalgia
Cynical.
factor. Cynical.
It was like the album opener.
Oh yeah. There's a cynical feeling. Yeah.
Kings of the Weekend is great too.
Yeah. Yeah. California was fun. What year was that? 2016.
2016.
Damn. It's a long time ago. So weird.
That was the same summer
Uh,
as Life of Pablo. So we're just pretty much doing a summer 2016
little 2016
segment right now.
What other 2016 albums were there?
Pup was that summer too. As
Which
if this
one?
tour doesn't kill you.
That's solid. Those are three
Weezer, White
solid
Album.
Oh, that was when we saw them.
Yep.
Yeah. And Coloring Book, since we were just talking about Chance. But his verse on Ultralight Beam is still like probably my favorite thing from him.
Oh, it's so good, that verse.
Yeah. And it's so cool, like from Kanye, like I'm gonna have the first song on my album not even have me rap on it. Like I don't know. I just feel like that's like a big baller move.
The bold move.
Yeah.
Oh, Bad Vibrations, Day to Remember was 2016 too.
Ooh. Man, that album rocked. Seeing them soon. So wait, you're coming to that?
That'll be at. Yeah.
Okay. And you're not coming to Rise Against.
Correct.
And you are totally coming to Fish. Confirmed.
I wish. I'm gonna be
No.
like full on hooked by like August 6th, probably at this rate.
I'm gonna have so much fun just sending you so much stuff.
I just played it all day when I was at work, and it just made the day that much better.
Yeah. Yeah, my car is like I basically pay for Sirius XM just to have Fish Radio because they just always play shows. Summer tour picks back up tomorrow, actually. They're where do they kick off? Let's see. The Wharf Amphitheater. Where's that? Oh no, that's where the whole tour started. Tomorrow 7/14. Xfinity Center. That sounds like Massachusetts. Mansfield. Oh, I think people call that the Man, unless I'm just like combining venues.
Sounds about right.
But yeah, they have an app. I promise I won't talk about Fish for 10 minutes, but they have a live Fish app. So like I think it's $5 a month. And you can listen to the show the very next day. So like they play tomorrow on 7/15 Friday, I guess. I get to listen and then like you go on the boards and you talk about it. What songs did they kill it on? Like just a good time.
That's
They're a
awesome.
sports
Was
team.
that what Brian was talking about too, where he like has people over to like watch the shows, or is that something different?
So every show they do, they live stream professionally. So you can buy the show for like, I don't know, 15, $20 maybe. And you could watch it. So you could like I've done it where I've gone to like my uncle's house and we've had some friends over who are also fans and we just like drink beers, barbecue, and then like project the show onto like a shed.
That sounds like an awesome night. I want to do that.
Yeah. It's like almost as good as a show. It's almost better because there's no bathroom lines and you don't have to pay for beers. Yeah, it's a good time, especially like New Year's when I can't make it. Like I've done some runs where I've gone to like the whole thing, like all 4 days, but that's hard. That's hard to do.
That's a lot. 4 in a row is a lot now.
Yeah,
2 in a row is a lot now for me, I feel like.
yeah. it's just like, I don't know. When you come to a show, you'll kind of understand just the addictiveness of it. You see people who like follow them not only to that weekend, but all the weekends. And then you're like, oh
Like
man,
the
I'm missing
entire
out.
tour.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to get you to show. That'll be a fun episode. We could do a little live recording from the show
That'd be fun.
during halftime because they do a set break, set, and then like 2 encores usually.
So kind of like Tool.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know if Tool does the set break in the middle though. I don't remember.
I think remember they had the countdown.
I was not in my right head last
That's
time we
true.
saw.
Yes. First time, maybe.
Yeah. Oh man, I hope they tour again. They could just tour Fear Inoculum again and I'll go. I wonder
I
if they'll
love
put
Fear
out new
Inoculum.
music.
We had to
Yeah.
wait like 13 years for this one, so who knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
Worth it though.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm taking it easy for the fall and then maybe winter pick it back up a little.
So I'm thinking too.
Yeah. We have Gaslight in the fall and we got to talk about Messengers because maybe we could just pick another date, try and sell the tickets, but that's like a lot of work.
Oh no, you can't go.
I mean, uh, we were invited to a wedding that day, but it's like Nicole's work friend who she doesn't work with anymore. So I don't feel like that's a wedding that we have to go to.
Because Parko's coming to that one too.
All right, I'll just go. I don't want to be an asshole anymore.
I'll be having a horrible time without you guys.
I'll make it. I'll figure it out. But yeah, next week we got Camp Trash interview. Get ready.
New
Listen to
Census
the album.
Fail.
Was it Long Way the Slow Way? I think that's the name
That's
of the
right.
album.
I want to
Yeah.
know if that what's on the cover is a real place or if they just like slap like the album name on there. And I
Yeah,
feel like it's in Florida.
gotta be.
That
Right?
the album cover has to be in Florida. Right? That's going to be
Yeah.
one of our questions. So we'll find out next week.
Never going back. Yeah, New Census Fail. Camp Trash. Yeah.
And then we'll preview your Elton John show that you have
Yeah.
coming up, right?
Yeah, I'm seeing Elton John in 2 weeks, so we'll do a little Elton John talk next week. I cheated and made a playlist of his set list, so
We've all done that occasionally.
yeah, it depends on the band. Elton John has a lot of stuff, and like it's like a family trip. Not that I don't like Elton John, but we have like all my aunts and uncles and cousins going. It's gonna be a whole thing. So I'm like, I'm just gonna cheat, so I know the deep cuts, but I haven't listened to it. I made the playlist and never listened to it, so that will be some homework for this week.
Some Crocodile Rock.
Yeah. Goodbye, Yellow Brick Road. Goodbye to your old job.
Legit though.
Yeah. All right. We'll see everyone next week. Thanks again to Brian for coming on. That was awesome. And yeah, we love you all as always.
Go listen to some Fish too, because
Oh,
I'm
man.
aboard.
For those not watching on YouTube, I am just smiling ear to ear. Makes me so happy I could cry. All right. We love you guys. Peace.
Talk to you next week.